Here we go now, baby. Great looking Thursday night football game in Detroit with the Cowboys in town to take on the Lions. Joe and Jingles coming at you with our four total best bets for the very fun looking game. Before we get into those, guys, make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe button right down there. Now then, let us get right into the action. And if ever there was a game tailor made for an over, this is absolutely it. High number, 54 and a half. Don't be scared of the big number, homie. Where do you want to start? How about some basics here? This is a matchup between teams that rank second and third in scoring. Cowboys allow the second most points per game. The Lions defense is really falling off, 58 points allowed in their last two games versus the Giants and the Packers, both of those games coming on their home field. So consider all that playing in an indoor controlled environment. And I absolutely love it. So the Lions might opt to run the ball a little bit more with the status of St. Brown up in the air. And guess who's really bad against the run? Guess who allows a lot of receiving yards to running backs? It is the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Lions defense, they could be in a lot of trouble here, guys. Over their last three games, they ranked 30th in yards allowed per pass attempt. They have allowed the second most touchdowns to the wide receiver position. Guess who's allowed the most, by the way? The Dallas Cowboys. And all that considered for the Lions defense, I think we would all agree that the Cowboys have a couple of good wide receivers, don't they? Dak's slinging it pretty good these days here, too. So consider all that. Then also factor in both of these defenses allow a lot of big chunk plays and they stink in the red zone, 27th and 30th in red zone defense. On paper, it looks like an excellent opportunity to pound the over. That's exactly what I'm doing. What could go wrong? Let's go over 54 and a half. Okay, Jingles, you have two props. What's your first one?
All right, we start off on an under. I don't do them a lot, but Tom Kennedy under 34 and a half receiving yards minus 110 is an easy play for me. This number is implying that Amon St. Brown won't play, and that's fine. This number is gigantic. Last week had to have been the best case scenario for the unknown wide receiver who caught all four of his passes for 36 yards. So he just went over this number. But everything else just kind of aligned for this guy to get 36 yards, trailing game script, the St. Brown injury, the first week without Brock Wright and the flux of what they were going to do with the tight ends, zero usage with Jahmyr Gibbs in terms of the passing game. A lot's going to have to go right to get 35 yards again. I don't care how bad the Dallas defense is. He's option number 4 in a passing game that never really helped Khalif Raymond, who had a receiving yard total of 11 and a half and 17 and a half before he went down. Tesla's probably going to be the more targeted option in this passing game in a great matchup. But again, if Detroit's sitting there playing with the lead, pretty sure things are going to go back to the ground game, Joe. And the guy who nobody knew last week likely isn't getting 35 yards again.
Okay, my favorite prop for the game. It is a quickie. It is a spot I absolutely love. I'm going to take Goff's longest completion to go over 35 and a half yards. Great spot indoors in a potential shootout versus a Cowboys defense that's tied for the league in passing plays of 40 or more yards allowed. Goff has gone over this number in 4 of his last 5 games. He's tied for 4th in the NFL in pass attempts of 30 or more air yards. And for what it's worth, these teams played in a game last season. The Lions beat the living shit out of them. Goff went over this number 4 times in that one game against this very bad Cowboys defense last season. I'm going to take him to do it again on Thursday night at home. Okay, Jingles, prop number 2 for you. What do you got?
Going off the board here, a little dinky one here. Malik Davis
Ooh.
over 7.5 rushing yards, minus 110, 7.5. His usage since the bye in week 10, 4 carries, 20 yards with a long of 9. 3 carries, 24 yards with a long of 21. And last week, prime time game 1, Thanksgiving, we saw him go 4 carries, 47 yards, and that touchdown from 43 yards. This is a guy who got added to the active roster, is working hard, special teams, is getting more work, And there's a lot of growing trust with him within this offense. Offensive coordinator Clayton Adams told the media on Monday, he said, "We actually put this quick downhill hitter for Malik Davis back in the playbook before this game," referring to that 43-yard touchdown. So they're putting stuff in the offense for him. There is a growing trust with Davis in this offense. And as I said, he rejoined that active roster on November 24th. Add in the season's getting late. Javonte Williams is approaching career highs in rushes. He's at 198. His career high is 217. And I mean, it can take one for this guy to go off for a spot of a low 7.5. You're looking at 20 yards plus 375. You're looking at 30 yards plus 900. And if he hits that number that he hit last week, you're talking plus 1,600 for a backup back in an offense that, who knows, Joe? They could be playing with the lead and sitting on that lead, because I didn't like what I saw at Detroit, especially play calling Dan Campbell last week on Thanksgiving.
Okay, there you have it. Our four best bets for a very good looking game, a prop better's dream potentially on Thursday in Detroit. Thank you guys very much for watching. Best of luck with all of your bets, and we'll see you right back here on the Covers YouTube channel for all of Sunday's NFL action.